Welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I am, of course, your host. Who else but the Natty Teacher? We got a new lid. Got this bad boy from Kroger for like $6 or $7, man. What a steal. Look at this bad boy. Michigan. Got a little Yeti on there, a little Bigfoot guy, whatever. I can dig it. I can dig it with a shovel, man. That's great. Speaking of digging stuff with a shovel, what do we got today? Well, we got our first push session of this particular week. It's also my first week of running push-pull legs rest, push-pull legs rest. So I talked about this in a previous upload about how that was going to be the only change to my program, just purely because I was training push-pull legs, and then one rest day. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm at that point in my off season now where I need more recovery time to truly progress in my lifts, and also, you know, as far as just physical progress. I can tell a lot of my lifts are kind of plateauing a little bit, and some of them are still going up, but definitely some of them have, especially some of the bigger lifts, have definitely plateaued a little bit. So, you know, when it comes to like pressing and things like that, so it's just time to throw in that extra rest day, have another day to where, you know, I'll still do cardio and core work in the morning on that day, but it's just one of those things where I can tell I need that extra little bit. You know what I mean? Like I need just that extra little rest to effectively come back into the gym, you know, and really train as hard as I know that I can. And I feel like I have been pushing as hard as I can, and my recovery just hasn't been up to par. You know, not that it's like the worst recovery, but definitely can be better. You know what I mean? Like why settle for recovery that's 7 out of 10 when you can get recovery by simply just adding in one extra rest day that's 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a no-brainer. So that's the only difference. But what do we got on the docket for today's session? Well, we got some machine side laterals to get us started, per usual. Then we'll move into our pec deck, really get that blasted. I've been really progressing on the pec deck pretty quickly. You know, I feel like that's one where I kind of, each new training block, kind of reset pec deck at different angles, or different like heights, I should say, kind of hit different parts of the chest, and I kind of have to dial back the weight a little bit, and then I kind of just skyrocket in progression, you know, once I crank that up. And I feel like that's been the case for this particular round as well. So 3 sets of side laterals, 2 sets of pec deck. Then we'll move into our pressing movements. So we have a flat Smith press, which I'm putting it out there right now, we will PR on that bad boy. Obviously, we're going to see how our first two movements go, and if we're taking progression there, you have to take that into account. Like it's one of those things where, guys, like, please keep this in mind. If you progress in a session, let's say you progress like 1 or 2 lifts, and then all of a sudden you get to your 3rd or 4th lift, and maybe you lose a rep or something like that, and you're like, man, I feel fatigued. Please keep in mind that humans can only do so much. And if you took progressions on a couple exercises and you missed a rep or 2 on another one, please know that is okay. That's totally normal. Now, I'll say this. If you progress on 2 exercises and normally you do a set, let's say like a flat Smith press for 10 reps, and you do it for 3, okay, that's a little bit of a red flag. That means we probably either have an injury, or, man, you really progressed on those 2 lifts to where you were going way too far, and you got like nothing left in the tank. So again, just please keep that in mind, guys. You make a little progression. It doesn't necessarily mean that, let's say you have 6 exercises in a training session, you know, if you progress in 2, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to progress in the next 4 after that as well. Okay, so just please, you know that progress is progress. Sometimes progress in one thing will actually take away a little bit from another, and then you can continue to build from there. You know what I mean? It takes time. The bodybuilding, it is a long-term thing, and progress can be seen in so many different markers. And you know, I feel like people try to get impatient, or they get sloppy with their form so they can just match the logbook. Trust me, I have been an advocate, I have done those things. I'm trying to be an advocate against that now, where no matter what, the main thing that needs to stay tight is that technique and form. You know, a little bit of extra oomph here and there ain't gonna hurt you, but if you're really truly progressing before you go up in weight or what have you, you should always make sure that technique is on point. Anyways, kind of a little progression rant there, I apologize. But anyways, yeah, so after flat Smith press, we have an incline plate loaded press. It is a great press. I will say it is a little unrealistic. What I mean by that is just like the what would you want to word this? The strength curve on it is a little off. So I actually try to make it as difficult as possible, use the more challenging handles, put it in positions where it's really, really blasting the chest. It's a Magnum incline converging chest press. Again, it's a phenomenal exercise. I just see too many guys use it to where they're using the handles that are lower, and I mean, you can push like 7 plates aside on that bad boy for, you know, a handful of reps, you know, pretty easily. You know, 3 plates aside with those bottom handles is like a plate on most chest presses. It's wild. So I try to make it as challenging as possible. I feel like I found a nice sweet spot for me and what I need for my chest. So we'll move into that. Then we will actually go back to a press, but it's not really like a, you know, a full-blown like chest press. It's a JM press for the triceps. And then we will finish with some overhead extensions. And then we do have some, we have some toe press. So today is our first day of calves as well. So we'll have that going on. That's the plan. We do still have cardio and core left to do later on. So the nice thing about Sundays is, for me, like I slept in a little bit this morning, but I've had 2 meals so far, about 3 liters of water, a little extra hydration this morning, about 3 liters of water. Had a little bit of caffeine, about 150 milligrams of caffeine from a White Monster earlier this morning, so a couple hours ago, so it's kind of already processed through my system, because I don't really like caffeine directly before I work out, but in the mornings I do like it as kind of, I'm not a coffee guy, so, you know, usually from like an energy drink or something like that is my go-to. Yeah, 2 meals, bunch of water, all that kind of fun stuff. And then because I have that couple hours in between meals where they're digesting and what have you, it allows me to get ready for tomorrow. So I go back to work tomorrow. Christmas break as of today is officially over. As of tomorrow is officially over, I should say. Today's the last day. So like I'm already ready for tomorrow. You know, I got my meals packed already, minus one thing I still got to do, and got food made for today, you know, and all that kind of fun jazz. You know, got my breakfast already made for tomorrow. Like, it's nice. You know what I mean? It's nice to, you know, have those weekends to where you can prep for, you know, the following day or so at work and, you know, get ahead a little bit. So it's something you definitely need to do. Anyways, I am going to be pulling into the gym here in all of about 30 seconds. So top set, of course, post mobility work and getting some warm-ups in and all that kind of fun jazz. Top set of some machine side laterals coming at you right about now. All right, so as promised, we got machine side laterals. 3 working sets here. Again, the sweet spot for pretty much all my exercises, guys, is within that 6 to 12 rep range. You know, that is kind of where I find my best overall gains without also hindering recovery. You know, to the point where I'm leaving the gym feeling like I'm battered, you know what I mean? And just being like, yeah, this is like on my shoulders, my chest and triceps are just absolutely fried. Again, obviously a lot of that has to do with volume as well. But when you're doing those very hard sets of 20 or 25, for example, not to say that they don't have their place, I do notice that I tend to become even more so fatigued with those sets, which it's lighter weight. You'd think it'd be the opposite, but because of how much I'm having to put into those sets of 15, 20, 25 on a lot of movements, it can be a lot. So that's why, like for a leg press, I like to keep it higher reps because I want to do 2 working sets of a leg press, for example, and, you know, keep my volume a little bit lower, but get the most out of, you know, a relatively medium heavy amount of weight, or even really a heavy weight, but still getting the most out of it with those higher reps. So again, we did 3 working sets here, all within that 8 to 12 rep range. I think the top set was 11. Then we did a pec deck with the D handles. This has been an absolute game changer for me with regards to really activating and utilizing the chest a lot more on the pec deck compared to using the handles behind. Absolutely do not need to use the D handles. Please do not think I'm like preaching and saying like, yes, you have to use D handles on the pec deck. It's a game changer. It's been a game changer for me. It might not be for you. So if you don't like it, don't use them. But we did top set of 10 here and then kept this weight in the off season. That is something I'm trying to stay more consistent with, is doing those second sets with some of these top sets that feel comfortable, you know, for like 10 or 12 reps. So we hit a set of 10 here and I'm like, you know what, we're going to keep this weight on here instead of dropping the weight 10 or 20%. And we hit a second set of 7. So that was good. Okay. So yeah, 2 working sets here. Felt good. I was about it. Definitely feel like I got a lot out of that, so I was happy with that. So after that is when we move into our first compound movement of the day, which is just a very basic flat Smith machine press. We got 2 plates of 10 and a 5 on each side here. This one I like to do 2 working sets of.
So I do a handful of warm-up sets, usually like doubles. I'll do like 3, maybe doubles, or even a single sometimes. A lot of the times I'll do a set where I actually add a little bit extra weight, so like 5 or 10 pounds heavier than my top set, and just do a quick single, you know what I mean, and just feel it out. And then when I bring the weight back down, it feels more comfortable. It's a mental thing, it's a physical thing. I've been messing around with it, and I actually really, really enjoy it, so I'm going to keep it in. But you can see I did 10 straight, so I was really, really happy with that. It was the first time at this weight, having it be my 3rd exercise in, that I'm hitting a set of 10. So I was happy with that, kept this weight on there, did another set of 7. Then we have a incline plate-loaded press. This is a Magnum chest press. So for those of you who don't know, this is like the grandma pressing machine because of those bottom handles. You can see I'm using the top. Everybody and their mom uses those bottom handles, and nothing inherently wrong with that, but if you're actually trying to get the most out of your chest, I would absolutely recommend using those top handles. The bottom handles, you're using a lot of shoulders, and it's almost like a swooping motion where you can put, 5, 6, or more plates on there, if they even load them up to where they don't even fit anymore, and get some reps pretty easily. So yeah, but use the top handles, set up the bottom seat correctly. This machine actually feels really, really great. So did a top set here of 9, kept this weight on there with 4 plates, and did a back off set of 6. Then we have our Smith JM press here. So we got a plate, a 10, and a 5 on there. Again, trying to keep these in that 8 to 12 rep range, and that's exactly what we did. We did 2 sets of 8 here, both straight sets of 8. So that felt good. Again, really trying to bring those arms down without overextending them like I've done in the past, where I've actually brought the weight down, as weird as it may sound, a little too low, trying to get a little bit too much of a stretch, not even on the triceps, but more on the forearms. It was doing a lot of damage to my forearms and elbows. I actually took a little bit of a break from JM press for a while, and then I'm like, you know what, I want to give another go at this bad boy, because it is such a great exercise. And again, I feel like I finally found my sweet spot with this bad boy. So yeah, 2 working sets there, 8 reps, and then we did 3 working sets of some V-bar overhead extensions. I really like this one. What I like to think of is allowing the weight to really sink down behind my head and then sit there. This one, especially with like cables, I really like to let this sit there more. So have more of like a hard pause or hard stop at the bottom. You'll see like every rep, I don't shoot out of the hole. I really allow those triceps to stretch as much as they can, keeping those elbows relatively flared, man. You can tuck your elbows. I like to keep them a little bit more flared. That's where I really feel it. So we did 3 working sets here, top set of 10 here, and then we did the same weight for 2 sets of 8. And I'll tell you, I just filmed this exact push session a week later, and we added everything, weight reps to just about everything. It was a phenomenal session. So anyways, yeah, including to this exercise. But yeah, I'll catch y'all in the outro coming up right about now.
Push a session in the freaking books. And that was one for the books, man. That was one of the best push sessions overall that I've had in a while. Felt like fatigue and inflammation was just dropped off my body. Felt fresh, felt awesome, felt primed up, ready to rock and roll. Everything was just clicking exactly how I wanted it to. Like even for my flat Smith today, I could just tell. Like the goal was 10, and usually what that would mean for me is I hit 9, hold the weight for a moment, and then grind out a 10th. Today, it was quite the opposite. Today, I hit 10 in a row on my top set, and actually was almost half tempted to go for an 11th. I'm like, I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because if I would have gone for that, it would have been real sloppy. Wouldn't have been worth it. It would have caused a lot of extra fatigue for a not great rep, to be honest with you. But I hit 10 straight. I've never hit 10 straight on that flat press with that amount of weight, I don't think. So that was awesome. That was really, really cool. And especially with that being my 3rd exercise in, my chest didn't feel fatigued at all. If anything, it just had a nice solid pump. Felt great, felt strong, felt ready to rock. And that was, wow. Dude, that was an awesome push session. The only thing I'm thinking, because I'm kind of racking my brain, I'm like, what did I do different? Everything just felt so smooth, just loose and limber, no tightness. I actually did get a little bit of a Charlie horse in my neck during my, I think I just clenched a little too tight in my machine side laterals, and so I was like, oh dang. So I still have it a little bit. I kind of got a little bit of a Charlie horse in the back left side of my neck, so I was like, oh man, that's no good. But it didn't have any negative effect on my training whatsoever. But the only thing I can think is I added back in some massage gun work, just not even pre-workout, but just last night, I bought it a week. My wife and I couldn't find the charger for our massage gun. I'm like, man, I really, 2025 for me is the year of recovery. And what I mean by that is I'm really trying to work as hard as I possibly can in the gym, and then also recover as effectively and efficiently as possible outside of the gym as well, and so it's one of the, in the gym, through warming up and mobility work and all that kind of jazz. But regardless, one thing I wanted to do, I'm like, especially for my upper body, and like my quads, they get real tight. I'm like, man, I really would like to add in some consistent massage gun work. And dude, I don't know if it's that or what, but I was, I worked with it, twice yesterday, kind of did some upper and lower work with the massage gun twice yesterday. And I'll tell you what, I felt great today. I got, a great warm up in for my session today and didn't really feel any tightness or anything, kind of felt normal. And then I got through machine side laterals, got onto pec deck, and I noticed after I did my 2 working sets of pec deck, which were not light working sets by any means, I was like, I still feel fresh, like, up through like my top line and through my chest, like everything still feels like good. Everything still feels nice and loose and limber and ready to rock and roll. And I could tell in my pressing today, I could just feel it. I'm like, yeah, this feels good. Like my strength just felt good. You know what I mean? Like I could tell that strength was there. I'm like, oh, we're going to easily hit 10 on this top set today. And I ended up working with that weight again and I could have got, again, it was kind of one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda deals. I hit a nice solid set of 7 with that same top set weight. Potentially could have squeezed out an 8th, but I'm glad I didn't. Put it that way. Again, would have been a lot of extra accumulated fatigue for probably very iffy rep at best, if I would even hit it. It was one of those. So, that was just a phenomenal session. Just a phenomenal session. Like that's, everything and more that I would have wanted from a push day right there, man. Again, one of the best push sessions I've had in a very long time. It just, everything was clicking, just felt good. Yeah, I was in a flow state. What can I say? And it's just a little inside joke there, but oh man, phenomenal stuff. So with that, what a way to get back into work tomorrow and all that kind of stuff, get back in my normal routine and all that, kind of can just jump into the week right off that workout, man. That was awesome. That was some good stuff, man. It was great. So yeah, am very, very excited coming off of that. I feel like, again, and especially now with that additional rest day in between, I haven't even done that yet. I can't even imagine what my performance is going to look like after a couple weeks of training with that, having that additional rest day, in my training block, or in like my week of training. Like that's going to be awesome. Like that's going to be awesome. That, fatigue and inflammation should drop very, very effectively on those days. So, awesome stuff, man. Again, as you can tell, I'm giddy right now. That was just a great session. So anyways, that's all I got for today. So make sure you tune in for the next video after this will be our first pull session of the week. So you can see that in roughly 2 to 3 days at most, depending on when I upload this one. It'll either be like a Sunday or a Monday. If it's Sunday, you'll see it probably by Wednesday. If it's Monday, you'll see it by Wednesday. So, definitely excited for that. Looking forward to that. I feel like I really have got my pull sessions down to a science at this point. No pun intended. Not trying to imply like science-based training, just down to a science. But yeah, got them in good order, good working order for sure. So, anyways, excuse me. Yeah, already have my post-workout meal. Still have 3 meals left for the day, so I hate to stay up late at all tonight going back to work. I'm hoping that I can kind of plow through my next couple meals pretty quickly, so I'm not staying up too late, because now that we're back in work mode, the latest I really want to go to bed is ever is like 9:45 or 10 at the absolute latest at night. So yeah, so should be able to, hopefully we'll plow through those meals pretty efficiently and effectively. So other than that, man, again, that's really all I got. Make sure, if you have not already, that you subscribe to the channel. Really means a lot to me, means a lot to the channel. I really appreciate it. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Join the Natty family. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, drop all those down in the comments section below. Make sure you like and share this video. And guys, for myself, the Natty teacher, and the whole Natty family, first and foremost, God bless. But this episode of Road to Natty Pro is out. I will catch y'all on the next one.